With the first couple weeks of the WNBA season under our belt, it's time for 5 thoughts. What are the biggest takeaways from the first few games? Thought number 1 is Napheesa Collier's MVP leap. Last year I had Collier as the best player in the game, and this year she seems to have taken another step offensively. She started the year shooting over 50% on catch and shoot threes, which is a noticeable improvement from last year. Teams used to concede these shots to her, but now this is asking for trouble. Combined with her chemistry with Courtney Williams in pick and roll, and the Lynx have one of, if not the most deadly two-man game in the entire association. But to me, the most noticeable improvement in her game has been her cutting. Fee has always been a player that makes quick decisions, but her explosiveness and intentionality on these back cuts and angle cuts has really opened up the Lynx offense. Watch the timing of this back cut. She notices the play has fizzled out and that Maddie Siegrist is overcommitted, which is an invitation for the back cut from the top of the key. A minute later, she fakes receiving this DHO only to plant her foot in the ground and get behind Alyssa Smith, who's still trying to figure out how this pass and cut got by her. Her movement really fits well in the Lynx motion offense, which is based on read and react to what the defense does. The Sparks switch this flare screen, which leaves Rakia on the high side, so Fee just cuts towards the basket for an easy 2. This feel and instinct is a noticeable improvement from last year, and is part of the reason why her scoring and efficiency has been historic to start the year. So historic that we very well could be entertaining Fee in some all-time convos if this stretch continues. Staying in Minnesota for thought number 2 is Jessica Shepard's early 6th Woman of the Year case. If you're new to the W, you might not remember Shepard that much, and that's because she missed all of last year playing overseas. Shepard is a noticeable upgrade at the center position for Minnesota because of her mobility on defense, but what stood out to me so far is her ability to extend plays out of structure. Her ability to attack closeouts and put the ball on the floor extends plays for Minnesota while also allowing them to play a wide variety of lineups that incorporate size and movement. Shepard's ability to handle the ball is rare for a center at her size. Finishing through Tina Charles in the post with a guard draped all over you is not something most role players can do. Of course, she also cuts right behind the defense, and like any big that wants to thrive in Cheryl Reeves' offensive system, you need to be able to pass, which she also does well. She's averaging 10 and 8 right now, which is amazing coming off the bench, but her ability to put the ball on the floor and extend plays might be her biggest and most valuable aspect of her game. Thought number 3 is Brittney Sykes' driving. Sykes is averaging a whopping 12 free throws to start the season, which not only leads the league, but is the most any player has averaged through the first 5 games of a season. Now, obviously this mark is not sustainable for any player, but her ability to get downhill and pressure the rim has been a godsend to a struggling Mystics offense, but it also makes her one of the best slashers in the league. The secret to this is getting low. Sykes doesn't care if there's nail help or a packed paint. She'll lower her head or shoulder and find the slightest crack in the defense to get through and get a shot up. The key is to get lower than the hips of the defender. She's also a low turnover player, driving through the defense and almost cupping the ball like a running back holding a football through the A-gap. This powering through defenders with reckless abandon is rarely seen in the league, which is why her free throw rates are unprecedented. And she knows how to make the right decisions when teams collapse on her drives, spraying it out to teammates like so. Sykes' handle is the most underrated and important part of this magic, and is what allows for her change of direction to discombobulate even the most youthful of point of attack defenders. Watch how this in and out dribble mixed with a ball screen helps her get downhill for another 2. Sykes' athleticism stands out amongst the rest of the league, And although this free throw rate isn't sustainable, it's certainly been fun to watch the craftiness in action, navigating packed paints and complex defenses. Thought number 4 is Natasha Cloud's two-way impact. Cloud has been the most impactful pickup of the offseason by a country mile. Despite the Liberty being already the most talented team in the league, Tasha's cerebralness and defensive prowess will always be a value add on serious contenders, but now she's hitting threes? Cloud is shooting 50% from 3, which is a career best. Now this number will all but certainly fall. Teams are still treating her as an afterthought from there, but the Liberty have the number 1 offense in the league, largely in part because of her prolific shooting. Last weekend, the Liberty faced off against the Fever in the early Game of the Year candidate, and we got to see exactly why Cloud is so impactful on defense. She picked up Caitlin for most of this game, and she blows up this dribble handoff, then threads the needle to find Stewie in transition. And it's Cloud's passing that's arguably her best asset on offense, and it's her insane court mapping and anticipation that makes her an excellent connective passer. Watch this play again. She sees the Fever hedge and recover plan is thrown off, which leaves Stewie open, so she throws it immediately after she gets it back from her, just in time to exploit the opening in the defense. This time it's a touch pass to find Stewie on the dive after she sealed her defender on the outside. This anticipation and instinct also shows up on defense with her hand-eye coordination, allowing her to blow up what would be a brilliant CC pass if it weren't for the presence of Cloud9. The same goes for peel switches, which she does on a regular, and yes, that includes in the clutch. Last year, the Mercury used her as an ultimate wild card on defense, and this year in New York has been no different, moving her from different ends of the zone defense they'll sporadically run. This is an all-star level impact we're seeing, and her presence is enough to look at this Liberty team as early title favorites. And thought number 5 is the Golden State Valkyries defense, specifically their zone defense. Natalie Nakase has the Valks playing more than twice as much zone as the next highest team in the league, and Golden State has a top 4 defense, which is wildly impressive given that this is an expansion team of basically everyone else's leftovers. What's interesting about the Valkyries' zone defense is that they'll have the corners play up high and then rotate the alignment of the guards depending on where the ball swings. Here it goes to the post, so they send a double and force a shot clock violation. Here it is again, this time it's Kayla Thornton coming up from the corner to pick up KP. The middle of the floor is occupied, and when the ball swings, the help and recover principles of the entire team kick in, and that's just a defensive masterclass. Because the zone moves as the ball moves, it makes finding entry points so difficult. Teams often end up taking late shot clock threes because of how impenetrable the zone is. Also notice the active hands. It's no surprise that the Valkyries lead the league in steals when you realize that all of their players have insane reflexes and active hands to blow up what would have been a layup here or a simple entry pass to the middle of the floor here. By taking away the middle of the floor and rotating well as a team, it's made this one of the most bothersome zones from a scheming standpoint that I've seen in a very long time. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. We're just getting started with women's basketball content again for the year, so let me know what videos you'd like to see from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.